Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we have episode 24 of Real Talk for Lightworkers. So if you have not already watched episode 19 and episode 23, please go and do that first. I've put the links down below, and if I haven't put the links down below, please give me a little note that I haven't done that, and I will do that. Because this episode is going to be an expansion on that, okay? So basically, in episode 19, I told you to lean in when you're around negative people. And then in episode 23, I explained why I suggest that, which is essentially so that you can start to understand, right? That when you're picking up on negative energy in people, what you're really picking up on is their separation story, which then triggers your separation story, right? So if you can start to lean in and start to see, okay, this is the story they're telling themselves, and then this is the story that it triggers in me about separation, right? And you can start to say, well, what if I don't buy into that? What if I start to find love and peace and connection inside of myself? And even with this person, even if they are not feeling it or demonstrating it, even though they're staying in their separation story, it doesn't mean I have to stay in mine. You're going to start to feel a lot better in life. You're going to start to feel a lot less victimized by people and their energy. You're going to feel a lot less like you're empathic, and you have to, and so we're going to get into this today. And you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable. You're gonna feel a lot more empowered, okay? So today, I want to talk about why you need to stop trying to save the world. And the reason that I did these other two videos, okay, is because the idea that truly the only suffering that exists on our planet is the idea that we can be disconnected from one another and therefore from love, right? That this is the foundational root core of why we suffer. This is the foundational root core of all of our neuroses. This is the foundational root core of why we all manipulate ourselves, try and manipulate one another. This is why, okay? This is the fundamental root fear. That is what fear is, right? Fear is the idea of separation. That's all it is, right? It is the belief that you can be cut off from those around you. It's the belief that you can be cut off from yourself. It's the belief that you can be cut off from love. That's all fear is. And love is the understanding that no matter what experience we are having, no matter what we are going through in our 3D reality, right? No matter how it looks, we're in our bodies and it feels like we have these boundaries, but the ultimate reality is we are infinitely connected. We are infinitely one. We are infinitely connected to love. Nothing can separate us. And that is the ultimate good feeling, right? And when we feel that way, when we have that foundational understanding and we are moving from that place of divine connection, we can understand why this leads to awakenings of consciousness and deeper understanding of how life works and da-da-da-da-da. Because when you feel that you're one with it, you're going to understand it. When you feel separated, like something is going on outside of you, right? That creates this idea that I can't understand it, or it's hard to understand because it's this separate thing from me. But the more you feel that you are connected to what is going on around you and what is happening in your reality, the more you're going to feel like you understand it. So like, this is why we say that love equals information, because all that's happening when you are in a place of love is you are acknowledging your connection with everything. And when you are connected, you understand, right? It's much easier to understand something you have a connection to, right? So when we look at this root fear of separation, right, which is what inspires us to try and save and fix the world, we see that we generally have these two pole reactions, right? The first one is, I feel this separation inside myself, right? I look around the world and I see people are suffering. I see people are upset. I see people are having negative experiences. I see, right, people are in pain. I see people are mad at me. People are rejecting me. All of these stories that we have that this separation is happening, and we think, I gotta fix it. I gotta change it, right? We're still moving from this ultimate kind of like core knowing that we are connected, but we think that we have to get back there, right? That's the ultimate false belief. We think that the separation actually occurred. We take in information of other people being upset, of other people rejecting us, of the experience that we're having here on the 3D plane as being evidence for the fact that this separation has occurred. And then we go about trying to resolve that separation, right? And so most light workers will go to the extreme, let's save the world side, right? So then we try and fix everyone. We try and make everyone happy. We try and manipulate ourselves to make ourselves thin, to make ourselves pretty, to make ourselves docile, to make ourselves, relatable. We do all of these things to try. We try and convince people. And like, if you could just see it this way, if you could just have this experience, you would stop feeling bad, and then I could stop feeling bad. If you're feeling bad, I must feel bad because we're connected. And the only way that I'm going to help you is if I'm, in your experience with you, and then I can help pull you out of it, because that's the only way we're going to be reconnected, is if we all have this enlightenment experience, right? This is kind of the crazy making that we're all doing as light workers, right? We're running around feeling other people's separation anxiety, their separation story, which causes us to go into our own separation story, and then we think we gotta fix it, right? We have to fix people. If everyone doesn't have the enlightenment experience, we're separated. That's the story, right? That if everyone is not having the experience I'm having, we're separated. If we don't have a similar level of consciousness, we're separated. If people don't validate my experience, we're separated. If people are upset, we're separated. And so we go about trying to fix all that, right? And to make everyone have our experience, to validate us, and to validate the fact that we're connected. Or we go the other route of just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna not engage. People are stupid, people are messed up, people are crazy, and I'm just gonna go live in the forest by myself because I don't want to be involved, right? And so if we understand this, right, that's fight and flight. That's what fear does to us. It takes us into fight. So I'm going to fight it, I'm going to try and fix it, I'm going to try and save it, I'm going to try and manipulate myself and everyone around me so that we can be reconnected, or whatever, right? We're disconnected, it's a fundamental thing, we're never going to fix it, so I'm just going to run away. And so what I'm saying here is this. Now that you're starting to become aware that the only false belief, the only painful story, the only thing that's happening is that we can be separated, the thing that's actually going to bring you peace in your life is to start to fundamentally question that belief that you have, right? If you are running around trying to fix and save the world, you fundamentally believe that separation has occurred and that you have to fix it. When the ultimate truth is, separation never happened. We are having this experience of the contrast, of the belief in separation. But that did not mean that separation actually occurred, okay? And this is the new paradigm. This is unity consciousness. We are not being empathic when we feel someone's pain, their separation story, and we go into pain with them. That's not empathy. That's mirroring each other's separation story. That's trigger ping pong, right? The ultimate reality is, what's going to set you free from suffering is not changing the world, is not changing the experience that other people are having or changing your own experience. Because the ultimate truth is, reality and nature, which we are a part of, thrives on variation. Every single experience that everybody is having, from the farthest separation experience to the highest enlightenment experience, every single one of those experiences are valid, and they are adding to the body of knowledge, because none of them actually mean that separation has occurred. Nothing here on earth, no experience that you can go through, no experience that anyone can go through, actually validates separation. And so if we understand that, we no longer need everyone to be having our experience. We no longer need to fix the world and change people and make them see and make them understand and get them out of their pain and get them out of the things that they're doing, because we can see we're not going to lose anybody, right? And that's a big core belief that we have, that we can lose each other, that if we die, or if they die, or if they get sick, or if they are sad forever, or if they never see us, or if we never see them, if we never get to this place where we can be connected heart to heart, we've lost them. And so what if that isn't true? What if we can have every experience possible What if we can hate each other and war with each other, and it doesn't actually mean that separation occurred? It's just an experience we're having, right? And so, yes, this does lead into a kind of esoteric idea that, what do you believe about the ultimate nature of reality? Is this all there is? Are we just having this human experience and this is what it is, and once you die, it's over? Right? And I think that's the big existential fear that we have, right? We're not really afraid of death. We're, again, afraid of separation. We're afraid that when we die, it's the ultimate separation, right? I'm going to be cast out from being connected to everybody. I'm going to be having this experience of awareness out in the nothingness all by myself. And that's the true existential fear, right? And this is where religions come from. This is where all of our societal trying to make all these connections happen and trying to unify and making groups and all this is because we just have this desperate need to feel connected, right? And so if you can start to expand into this idea that when you suffer, you are believing that separation has occurred, and you start to go in and get curious about those negative feelings. Get curious about the one that believes separation exists. When you're trying to fix someone, when you're trying to save someone, when you're trying to run away from someone, right? Or something, or groups of people, right? When you're trying to fix and save the world, you need to understand that you're coming from a fear place where you are operating from the fundamental belief that separation has occurred. And we cannot solve a problem from the same thinking that caused the problem. And the only problem is that we believe that separation has occurred. So if we're operating from that belief, nothing that we do is going to create a new world. It's not going to get you what you want, right? So now, I'm going to continue on with this, right? So yes, you're going to go in and you're going to love the one that believes separation has occurred. And you're going to realize that a lot of the things that you're doing and a lot of the things that you've been working at and a lot of the effort that you've been putting out is based in fear, right? And so therefore not having the effect that you want. We have been trying to fight against injustice and separation and tragedy and all of the horrible things that happen in humanity forever. We all know these things are bad, right? We all agree these things are bad, and we're fighting against them, and we've never been able to really make progress, right? We're still having a pretty similar experience to the one that we've been having for the entirety of human history, because we're all still operating from the idea that separation has occurred, and we're trying to get back to unity. So now, the ultimate truth is, you need to bring yourself back into the awareness that this separation never occurred. You have to shift your consciousness that dramatically. And I know this is a big ask, but really, if you actually want to have a positive impact on the world, you cannot be moving from fear, which means you cannot be moving from the idea that separation has occurred. You're not going to save the world from that place, right? The idea that you have to save the world means that you believe in something that didn't happen, means that you are moving from a place of fear. So if you are going to have a positive impact, you first have to shift yourself back into a state of love that says, we're not going to lose anyone. And you're going to have to go through that whole existential crisis of what happens after we die. Well, what happens if someone, right? We're all destroying the planet. What about that? We can't keep doing that. That's obviously something terrible. And we're all destroying each other, and we're at war, and we're all, homophobic and racist and religious persecution and all these things. Yeah, you're going to have to face all that inside yourself, right? You're going to have to see, this is just my story of separation. And this is the collective story of separation. And the reason these things are happening, the whole reason that persecution and rape and all these things happen is because we fundamentally believe in separation. So we know that to move from that place that you also believe in it and you're going to try and fix it, you're not going to fix it because it doesn't exist. So you move back into a place of love. You move back into a place of understanding that separation never occurred, and then act. So this is not to say you become passive. You're still going to do stuff, but you will have an empowered action. You will have an effect of being from the new place, the actual reality, living from the new place, working from the new place, and demonstrating that for people. That's what's going to heal the world. So it's this paradox. You're going to stop trying to save it. You're going to see it as perfect. It's happening the way that it's supposed to be happening. Now, what am I going to do from my place of love? What am I going to do from my place that separation has never happened? Okay? So like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Comment, join Patreon. If you want a follow-up on this, let me know what your questions are, and we will do that. And until then.